Mm-hmm. Because
Mediate.
today...
Cabrera, not Cabral, Kevin.
Who? Because today...
I spelled. Oh. Love this music.
That I whistled to. I think this diamond is too big if I had to get married.
Yeah, pretty much.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, that's very Miami sort of.
Good size, right?
It's very sort of Santa Kuglish sort of diamond. And
It's okay, it can live in the safe.
what's the point?
I can't wear it. I'll have to wear something a little bit more modest.
And what is the point in having a big diamond? So I think it doesn't work.
You don't think?
No, it's. What am I jealous of?
Live from OmniAudio.Africa.
This should be RomneyAudio.Africa.
Romy Titus and Kevin McCallum. Not the sports news. Headlines have spoken. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa. This is where Africa comes to play. That is a masterclass. On your phone, online, and on demand at OmniAudio.Africa.
It's mayhem.
Not the sports news.
Not the sports. It's what
A
Mampara. Today is Tuesday.
Good morning.
Week is flying past as we go
It
towards
is,
the
but
long
it's also a
weekend.
short weekend because
Yeah.
it's Easter weekend,
Yeah.
and then the following Monday is also a holiday, and then the 1st of May is also a holiday.
Let's just write April off. Maybe we should just cram all the holidays
You know what
into
I
one.
really wish that the schools would do was actually just cluster it all so that
Yeah.
the kids are off all at like one go instead of like this haphazard go to school, you're not at school. I'm even confused. I actually don't know which days they're home
Yeah.
and which days they're not, apart from the Easter break.
And yet then there are schools who want you to go to school during Easter, like the Easter Rugby Festivals at St. John's and at Kes, and I think there's one at Krugersdorp, and Stidden's already had theirs.
Finished theirs, yeah.
Yeah, so they've had theirs already, which is a bit weird. But yeah, none of the schools are going to be what I'm part of. I'm going to avoid going to any school rugby festivals because I covered them for 10, 12, 13 years.
Oh, wow.
And after a while, you just get tired of saying, have you put my little boy's, do you know how to spell his name?
Oh, no.
So I said, yeah, it's Kobus.
O.
K-U-O.
Bible.
Bus.
B-U-S.
And he's the biggest of the bus. I once saw a kid, a prop, playing for, could have been Monument. He was 140 kgs at the age of 17.
What?
140, and he only played for like
Was it a healthy
quarter of the
140?
game. No, it was not healthy.
Oh,
it was basically scary 140 that when he got the ball, all the other kids go, oh, that's over there, the try line's that way. Go ahead and score.
Anyway, what a Mampara it is today. Let's talk about those contenders because we've been racking them up since last week already.
yeah.
And I mean, we head to the greens for this one. I'm not so impressed by this one, Kev. This one doesn't sit very well. And Angel Cabrera, it is cited that 2 of his former girlfriends have come out to talk about the abuse.
Yeah.
You know, both physical as well as emotional abuse that they've endured at the hands of this man.
Yeah, so his first girlfriend basically said her name is Cecilia Torres Mana. She said in 2021, her and her family were still afraid of this guy, even though he was in jail. Physically, psychologically, and sexually abused me. She wrote that if she refused his requests and then that he followed her in public because he was paranoid she was seeing somebody else. She accused him of locking her in a closet when they were in Texas for a tournament, saying she controlled her movements and forbade her from seeing her dying mother.
No way.
Threatened her safety. Yeah, I mean, the fact is he spent 30 months in what they call the prison from hell. So that's
Clearly
it's
it
a
wasn't
Castel de
enough.
Bauer prison. But then
Out he comes.
The
And then
masters welcome with open arms.
Yes, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I honestly don't get that. Like how after what it is he's done that he is almost forgiven and welcomed back into the circle, you know, where I think the penalty should have been way more at the end of the day. And often I wonder if you take a look at the rape statistics within our country, in South Africa alone, and how many of those also just go unreported. Why? Because what's the point, right? What's the point? for your own safety. Gosh, it's a lot, man. There's just so many different facets floating around in my head as to
it's setting a precedent. I mean, Tiger Woods was vilified more for cheating on his wife. He didn't abuse his wife, didn't beat her. I mean, she beat him. That's why he crashed the car, and eventually everything came out into the open. And he'd had dozens or hundreds of affairs. Nobody knows how many, and they were porn stars. But when he came out and admitted that he'd done this, which was a bit of a half apology, he was vilified. And it's obviously because he was a black man. There's no doubt that's the reason why. But this guy, I mean, he's abused her, lock her in a cupboard, not let her see her dying mother. And not just one, but two. But as you said...
For me, it's
there
like,
more?
What documentary did I watch now the other day? A film director guy. Help me with the name.
I don't know.
Gosh, Romy, come on. Me and my short-term memory since COVID. Anyway... Harvey Weinstein. Excuse me. Yeah. So I watched that the other day, and then the journos struggled so hard just to get someone on the record, and when they finally got somebody on the record, it kind of had that ripple effect where it was like, okay, if it is that we're going to do this as a unit together, we're stronger together, right? Yeah. And then they go and they do it. And for me, it's just like, so if these two women boldly speak out, I'm sure it's not the only relationships he's had, and I'm sure the other women possibly could too come forward and, possibly say, at the hands of this man, this is what I endured.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at golf as pretty much a right-wing sport. The guys, the PGA tournament guys were asked, who would you vote for? And they said, the overwhelming majority said we're going to vote for Donald Trump. Okay, Donald Trump has been accused and is a convicted felon, but he's been accused of rape. He's been accused of sexual coercion, sexual harassment, and he's the pig. So you think if that's the feeling amongst one of those players, if he's one of their heroes, if he's their political idol, then something must have happened. Something must have gone on,
But that is our contender number one. That's Angel Cabrera. Open arms, welcome back there into his golfing circle. Like all of that we just mentioned did not exist. But we stay there, don't we?
Well, we stay at the Masters. So this is a fun story. And I don't know if he's quite a Mampara, but I suppose he is because he was a bit rude. So I guess
he is because the toilet was around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, if the toilet was really very, very, very far, I could have excused him. But when we took a look at where the restrooms were, it was just like, shot left.
So this is Jose Luis Ballester, who is the U.S. Amateur Open. He's a Spanish player. Obviously, he's at university in the United States. He'll soon be obviously deported the way Donald Trump's going. So he needed a pee, and he was on the 13th hole, and he basically urinated into Rays Creek from a ledge on Augusta National's 13th hole. So he was asked, I mean, this is a strange way to seek relief. And as the Sun newspaper said, tinkle, tinkle, little star. This is the what he had to say to Golf Digest afterwards.
Please, I'm sorry, this is uncomfortable. At 13, there's an issue. Did you have an emergency? Like, obviously they cheered. Can you tell us what happened there?
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Okay. 13th tee.
Yes, correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like real loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or I mean, obviously they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
Please don't do it again. I don't understand, right? Why it is that you see so many men that stop along the side of the road to quickly take a pee.
Because we can.
No, but I mean, no, guys, no. I mean, do you see as many women? I'm not saying there aren't, right? Because when you got to go, you do got to go. But do you see as many women on the side of the road just quickly popping a squat just so that, I can relieve myself? No, we cannot stand and pee, right? And I think maybe that is the difference here.
Well,
but still, guys, just keep it in until it is that you get to a toilet. The only time ever, where was I? Comrades. And I found this device So intriguing. But basically, it's like a little cardboard funnel that they give women so you can stand and pee if you're running the Comrades.
Okay, but we got one of those funnels.
I'm just saying
It's
that
just
we
attached
don't.
to us all.
Yes, well, we needed to attach the funnel to us to be able to stand and pee. But please, guys,
Speaking of-
a plea from me, please, not a pee, a plea.
We'll stick with Comrades.
Do not stay on this. Do not.
Because obviously you've seen Comrades runners dive into the bush
Yes,
or
yes,
something.
yeah.
So once Bruce Fordyce was telling a story, when he was running his race, and I think it may have been Alan Robb was next to him, or I forget who was running next to him, but they're running beside each other, and Bruce needed a pee.
So he just went.
They just peed.
Yeah.
So
I've
basically what
seen-
happens, it spirals down his leg. But then when it hits the shoe, it spurts up. And it spurted up on whoever was Alan Robb, who was next to him. And basically, you see Alan Robb take a little jump to the left. Going, well, hey, what's going on?
Like, hey, I gotta go.
Because he
I
knew
gotta go.
exactly what was going on.
Oh, no, that is disgusting. But yes, I have seen that because Comrades, working for the SABC, a lot of the times I was at Cowie's Hill. That
Yeah.
was kind of my spot for very many years, watching the runners come up and down. And often you just wonder, cannot be sweat. But
Yeah, I mean,
please don't be on the side of the road, guys. Please,
I think
Kev, don't be one
covered
of those
5,
guys.
6
Okay?
Comrades. No, not on the side of the road. You find a tree, you know.
Well, I mean, and also if you are going to do it on the side of the road, like then venture further. Because why, as a driver, do I not, why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, even I said to my daughter one day, I said, close your eyes. You can open them now. I mean, come on.
So this Ballister guy didn't make the cut along with Cabrera. Said he apologized to the club. He actually went and gave him a groveling apology.
But then he just said in his soundbite that he
Did
would
it
do it again.
But this is afterwards.
He's,
After he
he's
said
not
that,
apologetic at all.
Yeah.
He's made the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And what is life like today? Oh, well, if my golf isn't going to do the talking, well, then maybe my tinkle can.
well, put it this way: next year the cameras will be on him.
Men.
It'll be like Australians with sandpaper playing
Please
cricket.
stand up
you know.
here for your species and just, I don't
Stand
know.
up would be the wrong word.
That's a long and short of that. Shall we move on?
This is, I think, this is one of your favorites. I think you nominated this one. MC Algier fans. I mean, what is with North Africans and violence?
Correct. I don't understand why it is that you have to invade a pitch, push, shove, hurt, hurl abuse, if it is that your team isn't doing the way that you want them to do. I don't see our fans doing this, when we travel into other countries, to perform. If I think of AFCON, for example, I think of the contingent of South African fans that were there in Abidjan or Côte d'Ivoire supporting. Not once, if things didn't go our way, did we push, shove, Skopski donor? We did none of that. So why is it okay when MC Alger fans, the Esperance fans, when you enter South Africa, you just go wild, like it's okay. It's not okay. And I still feel that this is uncalled for. The scenes, Esperance, Sundowns, Loftus, those scenes, Pirates, MC Alger, Orlando Stadium, unnecessary. We do not need this. And I still think something needs to be done, like a heftier measure needs to be taken so that when these fans who do come and express themselves so outwardly,
So, Zamalek as well.
you just got to wallop these fans with a bit of a fine, right? And look, Sun City is down the road. Can we make use of it also? But let us not.
Oh, the prison.
Correct.
Oh, sorry.
Not that way. Not northwest. Nature Arena side, that way.
But CAF now have opened an investigation. Do you think anything will come of that? I mean,
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so.
Does North Africa have too much power in CAF?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or I just don't know if it is that, okay, no one got seriously injured, no one died, and so we brush it under the carpet and off we go. But if it is, right, that CAF are coming with a stringent measure, if you think of coaches that need to have a license to be able to sit on the bench, right, CAF have enforced that. If you think about stadia across the African continent that are not deemed fit to be stadia or used. I mean, the one in Ethiopia, it was like, if it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, let it mellow. There was no water for either, But this is supposed to be a FIFA, like world-class stadium, of what standard. So if CAF can do that, right, and countries need to pull themselves towards themselves to have proper facilities so that you're not running, I guess, the country into the ground. Like there's a certain standard at which football needs to operate at, right? So operate at it, or your stadia is going to be null and void. If they can do that, correct, why can we not what is regeer in English? Guys, I don't know what's happening today, but I'm...
Government, control, body.
Govern, that's it.
Yeah.
So why can't we govern fans? There's got to be T's and C's for fans too,
Well,
right?
there are,
you can't
but,
just say
yeah.
players, stadiums, coaches, hello fans, and you. And fans happens to be like one of the biggest stakeholders here in this game. So now we all need to sing from the same hymn book. And I think CAF does need to do that. So does a PSL, right? Every country, I think, something needs to be done, Kev. Because tomorrow, you know what? It's going to be okay for me to take my pistol, come through, and because I hate you and you hold abuse at my team, bah! Thank you, goodbye, I've dealt with you, right? And if football is so emotive and so emotional, and we can see just how people react when their team doesn't do well, nothing stops me. Absolutely nothing stops me from getting rid of you. So what? We're going to wait for that moment to happen before it is that we then come down and say, here are the rules, guys. Yeah. Or are we going to do that before we get there? That's my fear. So we're going to have an example first before there's action versus this is happening too often. Let's now take action.
Well, I'd love to know what happened to those fans who got arrested after the Bafana fans invaded Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium during the Bafana game, which was a big worry because it could have cost us points in qualification. And it also comes these fights and Zamalek fans fighting, for instance, Stellenbosch. These fighting, this fan unrest happens in the same month, in the same basically week as Ellis Park and the 43 who died there, as Hillsborough disaster in the 97 who died at Hillsborough.
Everything happens to be in...
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is let's take precautionary measures before it gets to the point where we are now sorry. Yeah. And let us not just ignore it and just be like, oh, but this is Africa and we're, it's about our team and we're passionate. And please, something has got to be done before someone loses a life and you and I are having a different conversation.
Yeah, well, coming after break, we'll have an anti-Mampara story.
Yay.
A nice story, a joyful story, hopefully.
A happy Friday. My daughter calls Good Friday Happy Friday.
Well, it wasn't happy for
Friday.
Jesus.
This is Omnisport Africa. We are putting African sport first. Live and on demand on your phone. Data free on the MTN network in South Africa. T's and C's apply. And online at omniaudio.africa. Because reading about it tomorrow won't help you today. When we created Omnisport, we wanted you to hear from Africa's greatest sports journalists. In South Africa, there was only one choice.
No big deal.
Omnisport proudly presents Inside SA Soccer with Brad Jakes.
Whatever that Chiefs can do, it would seem Mamelodi Sundowns can do better.
With over 3 decades as one of South Africa's most talented, decorated, and astute soccer journalists, Brad Jakes is the man the players, coaches, team owners, and officials listen to.
This is a brave man.
Inside SA Soccer with Brad Jakes, exclusive to Omnisport, where Africa comes to play.
Now that's a garage match.
Listen live now and on demand at omniaudio.africa.
So,
Not a Mampara moment.
anti-Mampara, yeah. This guy, Evan Johnson, 21-year-old American student from Arizona. Wanted to go, he's in London, decides he's going to go for a bit of a sightseeing day to go see London, catch a boat up and down the Thames, have a bit of a party, then go walk around and, touch history and...
Piccadilly Circus, what else? Go in Buckingham Palace.
The East End, the West End.
Do you know that I ended up there by pure chance one year and saw
Piccadilly
the Queen?
Circus or Buckingham?
No, Buckingham. So a friend of mine just started wondering. We were in London. We went to visit our other friend whose birthday it was. And... so we just wondered. And the next thing we're in the midst of a parade and the next thing the Queen comes by.
Oh.
Yeah. We even have little videos where we're completely shocked.
Freddie Mercury?
No.
Oh, that Queen. Sorry.
The real Queen. The Queen.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, Elizabeth. Liz, we like to call her. Liz. She's dead now. But and Camilla Parker Bowles is now the Queen. You know, there's a really bad joke, an Australian, remember,
You sure you wanna tell it?
No, so that's a good, it's a
okay,
clean joke.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Muir Litton, when he was banned by Daryl Hare he was called for bowling with a crooked arm, and one of the Australians held up a poster saying, "What's the difference between Prince Charles' love interest and Muir Litton?"
What?
Camilla Parker Bowles. He doesn't get it. And dude doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
Okay, it's
Back
okay
to
with
Evan
you.
Johnson.
I'll explain later.
So he's in the queue for this boat trip. Okay, and he's looking and said, "Gosh, these guys are really, really jolly, and there's just boys and men there, and they're singing songs, and there's a lot of beer being drunk." But carries on walking, gets on the boat. They don't check his tickets, and then after a while, someone goes up to Andy Ward, who was one of the South End United fans, and said, "Listen, this is our boat, which is basically a charter boat that we are having a couple of drinks on before we watch South End United play Sutton, and there's an American here who got in the wrong boat." So he's sitting on the boat, and so Andy Ward goes off to see this guy, and there's this Evan Johnson having the time of his life, and we'll put the pictures up later of him. He went to the game. They had game on ticket.
Yeah.
He went to the actual game.
Wow.
Stood with the South End fans.
Best game of his life, I'm sure.
They started singing, so the nickname is Shrimper for the South End. And they started saying, Evan is a shrimper. And now he's a big South End United fan, which I think
That's a beautiful story.
It is.
But can you see how juxtaposed it is to the fans that we just spoke about versus, here, someone that just got lost, that was embraced by a community of fans, and off they go and they have a really nice time, so juxtaposed to then again, all those fans that have to just be unruly.
But there's this great picture of thumbs up. So the younger fans, apparently, according to Andy Ward, they were the ones who actually took him and looked after him. So they were the guy, made him feel welcome. They're fantastic with him, according to Andy. Said Johnson said he thought it was strange that so many of his fellow passengers knew each other, but the staff allowed him allowed him on board, and he took his seat. He was loving it. He said he'd never had that before. It was a bit surreal for everyone.
Maybe he just had a friendly face, It's just like, oh, Shay, maybe this one, in you come.
And the story gets better. However, the American guest missed what would have been his first goal he had ever seen scored because he's at the burger van. He said, "I'm South End till I die." He's 21 years old. He's American from Arizona. Evan Johnson is a South End fan until he dies.
Nice. Yeah. That is a really nice story.
It's just, I've read that story 3 or 4 times. It just makes me feel bad. This is a late contender, and we'll put the video up later. So J.D. Vance, who's the Vice President of America, he is...
Are you squeezing this one in?
I'm squeezing this
on
one
your
in.
own?
I am, yes.
Really?
I did find it this morning, so yeah.
Okay.
I'll just
hit me.
do it. So
don't hit me like
this is the guy. This is the guy who's been entrusted. He's America's backup. So if Donald Trump is sick or kicks it, J.D. Vance is the man in charge, and then he is. How to put this gently? He's thick as he's thick as thick can be. He basically, if he lived in Thickville, in the county of Thick, and he went to the University of Thick, he'd be the professor of stupid. He's
Kevin.
He's
That's
a man.
lot,
He's a walking ice cream on his head, man. He's just dumb as dumb can be. So he's not. So this is the guy who's in charge of America. Should Trump get ill?
Okay.
He hasn't got the safest pair of hands in the world. So on Monday, the Ohio State football team, so they've won the national championship. They come to the White House, which is very white these days. Donald Trump gives them a speech. The Buckeyes coach Ryan Day said a speech. Vance said a speech on the South Lawn. Vance then, who actually had gone to Ohio State graduate, so that's the stupid university apparently, tried to lift the trophy. So apparently what he forgot, that the trophy is detachable from the base.
Oh.
And as he picked up the trophy, he's like, oh, well, this is not working. Bah! He dropped the trophy on the ground. And there was a Marine band playing We Are the Champions. And you could hear the players laughing over the music. It was that loud. But everybody it was incredibly funny, but it wasn't very funny if you're the trophy, obviously.
No.
Not at all.
But also, there was not a bit of a dry run. Did nobody brief anybody about, look, touch, take, don't take, this is, just a little bit of a...
He said, I didn't want anyone after Ohio State to get the trophy, so I decided to break it. Which is a bit like they're doing with presidency and democracy and everything decent there. So,
Anyway, I said hit me, but please don't hit me the way the water bottle came landing, boof.
Yeah, I mean, Paris-Roubaix is possibly, they call it the hell of the north in Paris, France. It's probably the hardest one-day race in the world. They ride over cobbles. I'm just trying to
But
describe
even
what the
their
cobbles
beaches,
are like.
have you seen their beaches? Like ours are really sandy and nice,
Yeah.
and theirs are really rocky.
Yeah, but these guys went on the beach. But
I get you,
Yeah.
but that's the image I have in my head,
Yeah.
rocks.
Well, yeah, but the cobblestones, I'm trying to think of rocks on the beach.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've got like pebbles. It's like a pebbled beach
Yeah, that's-
versus
Well, how do you know it's summer in the UK?
sandy.
The rain's warmer.
Anyway, let's get on to the story.
So,
It was Matthew van der Poel.
Paul, so he's a Dutch champion. I won the Paris-Roubaix for the third year. He's basically he's an incredible rider. You've got to be a big rider to ride the cobblestone. The little riders get bounced all over the place.
Yeah, I can
basically, there's a
imagine.
gap like 2-3 centimeters between cobblestones, and you're getting bounced.
Ah, that's not a nice ride.
No, it's not.
My
So-
poor soft tissues wouldn't
But they only,
handle
yeah, I
that.
know. But they do only do like section. They call them sectors.
Okay.
And if you go through sector 5, the 5 rated sector is the hardest. And basically, you're getting bang, bang, bang. Daryl Impey said he rode it once.
Chitty, bang.
And Daryl Impey is the South African who wore yellow at the Tour de France and also won 2 stages. He says it is the hardest race he's ever done in his life. He's done it once. Will never do it again, and he actually had to bail. And then he was riding along, thinking, "Oh, look, there's a team car." I'll jump in the team car. Team car was full because everyone else had bailed, and they got into the team car.
shame,
So he had to ride back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Obviously avoiding the cobbles, but I mean, it's the most popular race. People there are full of beer. I mean, there's a lot of little cafes and stands along the place, and it's quite famous. So you watch it live, or you watch it on the TV, then you come outside, cheer them as they go past. But there's one fan basically threw a full bottle at Matthew van der Poel's face and hit him on the side of the head. And as a bidon, a cycling bottle, so basically a little plastic 500 ml bottle.
Yeah, I got you.
And if the bottle was full, so 500 mils of liquid equates to 500
It's like a
grams.
buddy bottle.
It's half a kilo. So he threw that instead of hit him on the side of the head. He has now turned himself over
In,
to the
okay.
police at the Flemish police.
But why did he do it?
He did it because he didn't like him. I mean, they spit at riders they don't like. Lance Armstrong used to have urine thrown at him. Chris Froome will tell you that Ineos, when he was riding for Sky and Ineos, when they go up a hill, fans would spit and like hit him. It's a madness.
It's just disgusting.
But
I'm
afterwards,
sorry.
Matthew van der Poel was speaking to Flow Cycles, and he said this is how dangerous it was. So you'll hear the reaction from the commentators as he get hit, and then you speak to Matthew van der Poel
All right.
afterwards.
Phillipson. Oh, what was that?
What on earth? Why do fans do that? Someone's just thrown a bottle straight into the face of Mathieu van der Poel.
You're a nice guy, you're likable, but why do fans keep spitting, throwing stuff at you? We saw that yellow water bottle come out from one of the cobble sectors at you.
Yeah, no idea. But spitting and throwing beer is something else. This was a full bottle and it hit me full in the face. And yeah, we have to take legal action because this is not normal.
It's too much.
Yeah, I hope we can identify this person. And like I said, throwing beer and everything and spitting, of course, it's not part of the sport. But this is just, yeah, if it's on my nose is broken. So this is just not normal.
So he was going at 50 k's an hour then. So half a kilogram bottle on the side of it. If it hit his nose would have been splattered. Basically, he's been hit with a brick in the face. They've been asked fans to just basically
Are you
show
a
some
fan?
decency.
Are you a fan if you're doing this? Because fan for me means you're in support of, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a hooligan. I don't think it's a fan.
No, it's a fanatic, yeah.
I think there's a difference. There should be a differentiation between the two because the commentator clearly says, why do fans do this? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to wake up, let's say, go to Cowies Hill, support comrades, runners, but spend my day spitting or flinging things at them. It makes no sense to me. Maybe just because I wouldn't do that, right? But it makes no sense. Just because you wanna.
Yeah, I mean, he was spat the week before as well. Somebody spat on him
Oh,
the week
no,
before.
Kev, no.
So, yeah, I mean, it happens fairly often. It's just...
You've cycled.
yeah.
Have you seen any of this? Like here at home specifically?
Well, I've been chased by road rage drivers, particularly Uber drivers. Yesterday I had an incident.
But in a race with
no.
fans.
No, never. But the races I've been to the Tour de France, I've been to the Giro d'Italia. Epic, no. I mean, there's not that many fans, and also...
No, they aren't, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't... no, they don't... It's a very different race, because the top end is the pros, and then the back end is me, basically.
Back end?
Well, the back end of the race. So, of the 480 teams to finish. I think I finished 450th.
It's
our
okay,
team.
as long as you finished, Kev.
Well, here's the thing. How do you know someone's done the epic? They tell you. And everyone says, when I did the epic. But yeah, that race is different. But cycling, I mean, it's a sport of suffering. But you don't need spitting. You don't need a bottle thrown in your face.
No.
There was another incident. Another pro nearly got taken out because I saw one of the helpers dropped a bottle in the road, and he basically rode over it, dropped his chain, and then had to stop. And he got dropped. As soon as you get dropped in the Pays-Roubaix, then you struggle to catch up because you're coming through the cars again.
No, guys, no.
Cycling it's a phenomenal sport to watch. The Pays-Roubaix is a phenomenal race to watch. But yeah, sometimes the fans, and particularly Dutch and Belgian fans, they can get quite rowdy.
And
the French fans as well.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm not for that.
So who's going to win? What do you think? So there's Cabrera, there's the Tinkle Tinkle Little Star, there's the MC Algier players, there are JD Vance fans. So which fans? Players? Well, the players actually started the fight. Algier players started the fight, and they're the ones who punched the pirate security guard. So who do you think?
It's so tough, but I think Angel Cabrera for me
Let's go with
takes
Masters.
number one, because I still don't know, after everything that has happened, that you're still welcomed back with open arms.
Yeah, do better, Masters. Don't, and Ben Crenshaw, all those guys, Adam Donald, all those guys who Luke Donald said, no, we're going to welcome back. He's a great champion. He's a
it
champion.
says a lot about everybody else there.
Yeah.
The Masters, the rules, and this brotherhood that you don't break regardless of your crime. Even if you committed a crime, you're still part of us. Go and do it again. We'll welcome you back.
And hell is no angel. And that's where we're going to leave it. What a Mampara.
Till tomorrow. Cheerio.
Not the sports news on OmniAudio.Africa. With Romy Titus and Kevin McCallum.